Her hands tremble like someone holding the last piece of their worth. A tear hits the worn leather wallet resting in her lap. Diane, early 40s, sits alone in the half-lit room, rain crawling down the window like melting glass. The air feels heavy, too heavy for one heart to carry. Her phone screen glows on the coffee table. A message sits in bold, sharp letters. "You're just a wallet, nothing more." The words linger like a bruise that won't fade. Diane's breath catches. She clutches the wallet tighter, knuckles whitening. Every corner of the house seems to echo with quiet betrayal. The dishes she washed, the meals she cooked, the laughter that once filled this space. She opens the wallet. Empty. A few crumpled receipts, a photograph. Haley as a child, smiling with ice cream on her nose. The image shakes in Diane's trembling hands. Lightning flashes outside, bleaching the room in white for a single heartbeat. Then darkness again. Diane closes the wallet slowly, the metallic click slicing through the silence. Her reflection in the window looks back, eyes hollow, lips trembling. And for the first time, she whispers something only the rain can hear. Morning creeps in slowly, brushing pale gold light across the kitchen tiles. Half-empty mugs, cold toast, and a phone resting on a stack of books, her makeshift studio. Diane, early 40s, sits quietly, the camera's small red light blinking at her like a heartbeat. For a moment, she just stares at her reflection on the screen. The same woman who once tried to keep everyone fed, smiling, together. Now she looks like someone learning how to breathe again. She adjusts the collar of her faded sweater, runs a hand through her hair, and lets out a long, shaky exhale. The record button flashes. She leans closer, voice trembling but sincere. "Hey, I'm Diane. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but maybe you've been where I am. Before I start, could you hit like? Maybe subscribe? And tell me where you're from. I've seen people from all over. Texas, Maine, even California, and it makes me feel less alone." The light flickers on her face as she whispers, This is the story of the day everything changed." The camera holds on her eyes. Fade out. Golden sunlight spills through white curtains, dancing across a kitchen filled with the smell of pancakes and maple syrup. Diane, a few years younger, hums softly while flipping a pancake on the skillet. The house feels alive, the sound of a distant TV, the soft shuffle of slippers on hardwood floors. Mark, mid-40s, enters, half asleep, kisses her on the cheek and mutters, "You're spoiling us again." Diane smells faintly. For a moment it feels like love has roots here. Then Haley, 15, walks in, headphones around her neck, eyes glued to her phone. She sits without looking up, scrolling, the screen lighting her face in pale blue. Diane slides a plate toward her, your favorite, blueberry. Haley shrugs, pushes the plate aside. "I don't eat carbs anymore." The air changes, subtle, sharp. Mark clears his throat, trying to bridge the silence. Diane forces a small laugh. "Guess I'll eat it then." Haley grabs a bottled smoothie and walks out without a word. The front door shuts. Diane stands still, spatula in hand, watching syrup slide slowly down the pancake, a sweet thing cooling into something forgotten. The music fades, light softens, fade to white. Late afternoon sunlight bends through the living room blinds, stripping the walls in golden shadow. Dust drifts like tiny ghosts. Diane sits cross-legged on the floor, folding Haley's laundry, a rhythm she's done 1,000 times. Pop music comes faintly from upstairs. Laughter filters through the ceiling, not directed at her. On the couch, Mark scrolls through his phone, half listening, as Diane says softly, "She didn't come home for dinner again." He murmurs, "Teenagers. They need space." Diane nods, but her eyes betray her. She smooths a sweater that still smells faintly of Haley's perfume. Cut to the next morning. Diane's car idling in front of the high school. Haley slips out without a word, backpack slung low, earbuds in. She doesn't close the door fully. Diane reaches over and does it herself. The latch clicks, louder than it should. Evenings blur. A text from Haley flashes across Diane's phone. Need money for project. Urgent. No greeting, no please. Just the request. Diane sighs, thumbs sure, transfers the amount, then stares at the blinking cursor that waits for her to type something else, something motherly. She doesn't. Later in the quiet of their bedroom, she finds a new package on the dresser. Expensive shoes Haley wanted. She smells faintly. Maybe this time she'll say thank you. Dinner comes. Mark talks about work. Haley takes her phone out mid-meal, laughing at a message. Diane starts, "How was your project?" Haley glances up, barely hiding her impatience. Fine. Then, "Can you pass the salt, please?" she adds, the please sharp as glass. The table falls silent. Only the ticking wall clock fills the gap. Diane looks down at her plate, her appetite gone. Across the table, Haley scrolls again, face glowing blue in the darkening room. A daughter fading further with every notification. The camera lingers on Diane's eyes, reflecting that cold screen light, fade to black. Night settles softly over the house, wrapping everything in muted blue. A dishwasher hums in the background. The television in the living room flickers, muted, playing reruns no one's watching. Diane stands by the hallway table, folding a few stray towels. Her movements are small, methodical, the rhythm of someone holding herself together. Upstairs, laughter spills from Haley's room, bright, careless, the kind that used to make Diane smile. Now it feels distant, foreign. She moves closer to the staircase, one hand on the wooden rail. Haley's voice cuts through the stillness, sharp with confidence. "Ugh, Diane? She's not even my real mom. She's basically an ATM with hair." A pause. More laughter. A friend replies faintly over the speakerphone. "That's messed up." Haley giggles. "Please, she buys stuff just to make me like her. It's kinda sad." Diane's breath catches. The folded towel slips from her hand, falling soundlessly onto the carpet. The camera holds on her face. The moment disbelief turns into ache. Downstairs, the refrigerator hums. A clock ticks. Every sound feels magnified. She turns slowly, almost weightless, drifting toward the kitchen. The light from the fridge paints her in cold white as she opens the door, staring blankly inside. A jar of jam, a half carton of milk, nothing else moves. Her reflection in the glass glows faintly, eyes red, lips trembling, shoulders trembling under the weight of unspoken grief. She presses both hands on the counter, steadying herself as a single tear drops onto the marble. In the silence that follows, Haley laughs again upstairs, a careless echo that feels like a knife drawn across memory. Diane closes the fridge, her face half hidden in shadow. For the first time, there's no sound, only her shallow breathing and the low hum of the house holding its breath with her. Then, quietly, almost to herself, she whispers, "All right, Haley. I hear you." The music fades to a low, haunting piano note. Cut to black. Morning drips into the kitchen like molasses, slow, heavy, indifferent. Diane stands by the counter, a mug of cold coffee in her hand. The night's words still echo somewhere between her ribs, but her eyes no longer shine with tears. They are steady now, calm, deliberate. On the table before her lies Haley's platinum credit card, gleaming under the pale light. She studies it for a long moment, tracing the embossed letters with her thumb, the name she had helped apply for, proud once, foolish now. With a quiet inhale, Diane opens her laptop. The screen's glow paints her face in blue as she logs into the account. Click. Freeze card. Confirmation window. Click. Done. A faint chime echoes from the phone upstairs. Diane's lips twitch, not in triumph, but in something quieter, relief maybe. Cut to her walking down the hall, collecting small symbols of generosity, A half-open jewelry box, subscription envelopes, receipts from stores she never shopped for herself. Each item goes into a drawer that closes with a soft thud. The next few days unfold in a careful routine. Haley's Uber payment declines. A notification pops up. Your transaction has been declined. She frowns, refreshes the screen, tries again. Declined. In her bedroom, Diane hears the door slam upstairs, then silence. She continues chopping vegetables, rhythmic, unbothered. The sound of the knife against the board replaces the need for words. Later that night, Mark asks, "Did Haley mention her card not working?" Diane looks up, wipes her hands with a towel. Her voice is even. "Maybe she just needs to learn how to budget." Mark hesitates, reading the calm in her face, decides not to push. As Diane loads the dishwasher, her reflection glints in the metal. Ease tired, yes, but no longer broken. Some
Afternoon
lessons,
light
she
slices
thinks,
through the
are
blinds in
best taught
hard,
in
narrow
silence.
stripes. The house
Fade
is
out.
quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the faint buzz of Diane's phone. Then, a door slams upstairs. Quick footsteps thunder down the stairs. Haley, 17, bursts into the kitchen, her voice already raised. "Why isn't my card working?" Diane doesn't flinch. She keeps washing a single coffee mug, water running over her fingers like white noise. Haley slams her phone on the counter, the screen flashing, transaction declined. "You froze it, didn't you? You're ruining my life!" Diane places the mug on the rack, shuts off the faucet. The dripping water fills the silence between them. "I didn't ruin your life, Haley," she says softly, turning to face her. "I just stopped paying for it." Haley's eyes widen, a mix of disbelief and fury. "You can't do that. Dad said—" "Your dad didn't buy that necklace, or that phone, or your last vacation." Diane's tone is steady, each word cutting clean. "That was me. The wallet, remember?" Haley's face flushes crimson. She grabs her purse, digs for cash that isn't there. "You're insane. I needed that money for school." Diane steps closer, voice low but firm. "Then go to school. Learn something that doesn't come from a receipt." The silence that follows is thick, electric. Mark appears in the doorway, caught between them, a man balancing a storm on both sides. Haley glares at Diane, eyes glistening. "You'll regret this." Diane meets her stare, calm as still water. "I already did. For years." Haley storms out, the front door slamming hard enough to shake the frame. A framed photo rattles against the wall, tilts slightly off-center. Diane exhales, leaning against the counter, her reflection fractured in the glass door of the oven, a woman torn between guilt and quiet resolve. The wind outside picks up, carrying the sound of a car engine fading into the distance. Then nothing, only stillness. Fade to black. The sun slants through a supermarket window, glazing the floor in warm orange. Haley, 17, stands at the register, phone in hand, card pressed against the reader. A sharp beep. Declined. The cashier offers a polite smile that twists into pity. Haley forces a laugh, tries again. Another beep. Her cheeks burn. Cut to her walking through the parking lot, plastic grocery bag lighter than her heartbeat. The sky above is streaked lavender and gray. Her reflection in a car window looks smaller than she remembers. At home, the kitchen lights flicker on as she steps in. Diane stands by the counter, quietly arranging plates. The air smells like lemon and garlic, comforting, but distant. Haley hesitates at the doorway, shoulders stiff. "My card didn't work." Her voice is small, almost human now. Diane doesn't turn. "Maybe it's empty," she says gently, stacking a plate. The clink of porcelain fills the silence. "You could have told me." "I did. You just weren't listening." Haley exhales, frustration melting into something closer to shame. She glances at Diane's hands, steady, calm, deliberate. and realizes for the first time that power doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Later, in her room, Haley scrolls through her messages, unread texts, missed calls. Nothing that fills the quiet. She pulls open a drawer, old receipts, a photo of her dad, Diane smiling beside him. Her eyes linger longer on the picture than she expects. Downstairs, Diane rinses a glass. The house hums softly, forgiving, almost peaceful. A small notification blinks on Diane's phone. Venmo, $5 from Haley, lunch. She looks at it, then at the ceiling above. For the first time in days, she smiles, not in victory, but in understanding. Fade out.
Night presses gently against the windows. The rain has stopped, but the air still carries the smell of it. Clean, fragile. Diane stands at the sink, her hands submerged in warm water, washing the last plate of the evening. The hum of the dishwasher is steady, comforting. Footsteps echo faintly from the hallway. Haley, 17, appears in the doorway, wrapped in a hoodie, her eyes swollen from quiet crying. She hovers for a moment, then steps forward, a folded piece of paper clutched in her hand. Diane looks up, but says nothing. She dries her hands slowly on a towel. Haley places the note on the counter. "I didn't know how else to say it," she murmurs. Diane opens the note. The handwriting is messy, letters pressed deep into the page. "I'm sorry. You are never just a wallet." Her throat tightens, the paper trembles slightly in her fingers. Haley stares at the floor. "I thought love was just things. I was wrong." Diane steps closer. No speeches, no scolding. She simply reaches out and pulls Haley into her arms. For a long moment, neither moves. The clock ticks softly in the background, a rhythm of forgiveness. Haley exhales, voice breaking. "Thank you for not giving up on me." Diane closes her eyes, whispering, "I almost did, but I'm glad I didn't." The camera pans out slowly, two silhouettes framed by the soft kitchen light, surrounded by stillness. Outside, the rain begins again, gentle, forgiving. Fade to warm glow. Morning light spills through the window again. The same window where rain once fell, but today, the world feels softer. The camera pans across the kitchen table. 2 coffee mugs, steam curling gently. The remains of breakfast untouched but comforting. Diane sits in front of her phone camera, the same setup from before, only now her eyes carry something new. Not anger, not hurt, just calm understanding. She adjusts the frame, takes a breath, and presses record. "Hey everyone, it's me again. I wasn't sure I'd ever tell this part." She pauses, looking down at her hands. The light catches the faint smile tugging at her lips. "A few weeks ago, I thought I'd lost everything. I thought love was gone from this house. But sometimes people need to lose the comfort they take for granted to remember where it came from." The sound of birds filters through the window. A gentle breeze stirs the curtains behind her. If someone treats you like you're just a wallet, a tool, or a convenience, don't break yourself proving your worth. Let them feel your absence. Let silence teach what words never could. Her eyes glisten, voice soft. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means remembering without bitterness. She leans closer, a small smile returning. "Thank you for listening to my story. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been someone's wallet? I'd love to know where you're watching from, and maybe how you found your strength again." The red light blinks, fade out to warm sunlight. The screen darkens, Only her final line remains in soft text. Sometimes, love begins after the silence.